Hey there, welcome to episode 52 of our Let's Innovate for Vegas audio program. I am your host, Dan Hugo, Managing Director of the Innovate for Vegas Foundation, your public 501c3 nonprofit corporation here in Nevada. Today is the 16th of February, another Friday for the books. And this is, being episode 52, our 53rd episode. How does that work? Well, if you've just joined us, I began with episode 0 to launch this audio program because as a software engineer, we always start with 0. Episode 0 is a bit of an introduction, so episode 52 may as well be a mile marker on to the next 52. So what comes next? First of all, the links, keeping it super simple this week, only the normal two. A link to our homepage, innovateforvegas.org, and our GitHub organization, github.com/innovateforvegas. That's it. Keeping it simple still, it's a brief episode this week. Our first 52 episodes could have benefited from more guests, more discussions, more and varied topics, although I don't think it was too bad, but we'll see. But we definitely need more listeners, mostly because listeners beget guests and discussions, and all of that will hopefully feed back on itself, and we'll begin to see some effects. More talking about more things will ideally mean more progress, more community elevation, more enabling and encouraging for volunteers and volunteer-driven projects, and so on and so on and so on. Like a good echo chamber. Audio only has a lot of benefits as far as production requirements, resources like cost of equipment, amount of equipment, the place of production, being virtual. Any guests we've had have been remote, so we don't have to have a set, we don't have to have facilities and so on. So production has been okay, but audio only may or may not be appealing to everyone. If you're on a treadmill right now, good for you. If you're out for a walk, great. If you're at the gym, if you're exercising in some way, if you are lounging on the couch, audio is great for these sorts of things. But some people really like to see people communicating. Personally, I'm not thrilled with the idea of just looking into a camera. I tend to look at my notes instead. So an audio program with just one person is, I think, of questionable value. But if we begin to get some guests and have, especially live streaming, I think that will work out nicely if we do some video. So that's the plan, or part of the plan for upcoming season, season 1. If we began with episode 0, certainly that was in season 0. And hopefully we will be as predictable, releasing a weekly episode as we have been. I think with very rare exceptions, I've been able to get one episode per week, per the plan. If we do video, that might be a separate production. I don't know that we'll make a visual production into an audio-only production. Maybe. We'll see. Mostly our focus will remain the same on local innovators and local innovation. I think we probably, because it's been me speaking solo quite often, have leaned towards the tech components, the technology, software, hardware, computers. Innovation is a much broader topic, and I'm hoping to make it more broad, with guests or live streams or interactive discussions and so on, which may or may not benefit from having a video component. I don't know if anybody does radio call-in anymore, but if we do an audio-only live stream, or if we do with a guest and we have a conversation on a video live stream and we're able to invite others to participate, I think that'd be great. So we need to get the word out more, like I said, to enable that. A live stream with interaction with 0 people is less exciting. So we'll see how that goes. We already have a Discord server. I don't know that Discord is the best tool for this. We'll see. So commence exploring. Live streaming certainly has been done, so best practices can be derived from other reasonably successful. Like, we're not going to try to be Mr. Beast. We're not going to try to be Joe Rogan, but we can certainly try to reach people here in the greater Vegas area and beyond for useful conversations, information sharing, and maybe discussions. That'd be wonderful, I think. Famous last words. So the challenge, man, this is going to be a very brief show. The challenge for upcoming, which are essentially the same as to date. I don't think we need a proper studio. I don't know if audio quality has always been great. I know some of the early episodes were problematic with, especially with guests, with their side of the conversation. I will say I have a Rode Procaster microphone powered with a Cloud Lifter phantom power source, and I am connected through a Scarlett single port, single microphone, single channel USB sound card, sound interface, if you will. I use Audacity, or I would like to use Ardor more for a couple of reasons, to record audio. And then I apply a loudness normalization to try to make it about the same. I need to get better about compression or compressor, not both, to keep the recorded audio within a specific range. I will often, especially if I bump into the microphone or if I have plosives, those will generate higher peaks, and then the loudness normalization will be thrown off by those peaks. So if I apply an envelope, a compression envelope or similar, I hope I will get a more consistent final output, final mix down for publication as a podcast stream, or maybe it's a video stream. We'll see. I was using OnWeCaster for recording, or Zencaster. Zencaster during a free trial. OnWeCaster is an open source project with a free tier for nonprofits such as ours. However, I found some of the audio issues that people were having, if they have noise cancellation turned on their end, or if they're using a mobile device, a phone, to record rather than a desktop computer with I'll say a real microphone. But we always had issues with that. And while OnWeCaster is cross-platform, making it easy to use on your Firefox or other not Chrome browser, there was just couple of problems. So even though it's open source and I want to be supportive of open source projects, I'm leaning heavily towards, especially if we go with video, of using something like StreamYard or Ping. But we'll see how that goes. Those have a free tier or not. So we'll hope to start generating some donation support, some sponsors maybe. Not that they would be sponsoring a commercial, like not as an advertising partner, but straight up sponsor. Our costs are very minimal. So if we went with StreamYard or Ping or similar, you're talking double digits per month or paid annually. So $30 or something, 30, 50 for high quality. And if we're using it daily or frequently, that might be worthwhile. So we'll see. Finding guests willing to spend an hour or so. We usually do a pre-interview, a discussion to, some people are not used to this, so they get comfortable speaking. So finding guests, though, that are willing to spend that time, the pre-show and then the during. And hopefully guests will help get the word out by telling their friends and colleagues to give a listen. That helps us get our word out. And as a nonprofit, mostly this whole platform idea, the whole notion of creating audio content, is about helping to inform members of our communities so that they know that there's even this effort happening, much less whether they would like to participate or maybe their friends, colleagues, children, friends of children, people that they know anywhere. They can also find out about it. So basically elevating awareness and involving people where they might not be interested or willing or able to join in a hackathon or work on projects specifically. So it's another way to reach people. We do also have a monthly office hours call on Thursdays as I speak right now. That could move, but we have a calendar on our website. I don't know that people visit our website, but once we launch our social information sharing platform, we'll make it a point to keep people informed about our outreach, and they can, and hopefully will, join in. So that would be fun. But getting commitment here is a tough hill to climb, as we all know. So getting people to join in as listeners is a challenge. Getting people to join in as a guest is, well, as Sisyphus says on this topic, I will stick with the boulder. Much easier. So yeah, getting the word out. If we have more listeners, then the value proposition of having a live stream and having some sort of interaction, probably not Discord, but maybe we could certainly do a YouTube stream. We could stream the recording of an audio program and then release only the audio. So you'd be able to see us, hopefully me and a guest or 2 or 3 or 4. But you'd be able to see us and interact similar to the way people stream on YouTube or Twitch today, or Locals or Rumble or various other platforms. So a live stream, even if it's destined to be an audio program, might still be interesting. But in order to make that interesting, people have to actually participate. Otherwise, we can just record offline, right? So if we're going to set up a live stream, have a time, have a hard start time, action. There should be people willing to participate, either passively listening or actively engaging in a chat or similar. Maybe even join in. There's a lot of logistics to they're not difficult, but logistical considerations weighed against interest. So if we have an interested and active audience, and there's no hard number, but more than 0 people who would be interested in participating in conversation, interaction, Q&A, kibitzing of some sort, then why not? The technology, an embarrassment of riches is at our disposal. So we can certainly take advantage of that. I have myself used StreamYard. I have used, obviously everybody's used Zoom. I've used Jitsi. We have Google Meet. So there are different tools. We'll figure out what makes sense for recording. I bumped into the microphone there. Hopefully not too badly. I'll check. If you hear a little cut, that's me kicking the microphone peaks the audio. So it'll clip and it's ridiculous. But so some audio production is easy. Video production is not much more difficult in this modern era if we're doing webcams and remote. So no studio to set up, no multiple cameras, no production crew, keeping the costs low. But we'll see where it goes. So if a video component, whether live streamed or otherwise, would be interesting, I would really like to start getting some of the people that take on challenges and hackathons that are more competition oriented. The NASA Space Apps Challenge that we did last year, for example, if people do it again this year, we are not facilitating it this year, but we can certainly be supportive. There was another NASA challenge that some students at Durango High School were able to, I don't know if winning is the word, but they are certainly moving on to the next round in this competition that they're having. I cannot remember the topic at this moment, but they actually received some press, which is nice when our local media covers something other than stadiums. So our goal would be to sort of interact at a implementation level, like, hey, tell us about your project. Like, what did you actually do? What were you trying to solve? What was your strategy? How did your team work together? And so on. I think I actually have interacted with the reporter that covered the story. I believe it was for Channel 3 here in Las Vegas. But those are, 2-minute lifestyle segments. And here we could talk for hours and hours about the team, their other interests, how do they get into this particular challenge that they're doing. And there's the Congressional App Challenge. There's a NASA Space Apps Challenge, like I said. There's a Congressional Art Challenge. There are various other hackathons and challenges that go on through the year. And so we can certainly talk about those things. I may have mentioned this before. One of our goals is to have a challengers.vegas platform. So we have that domain name to feature, recognize, and celebrate people who do, even if they give it a try, right? To actually compete or take on a challenge. Sometimes the challenges are with prizes and there's a winner. Sometimes a challenge is more for self-satisfaction or education, community elevation. We do projects like that on a rolling, ongoing basis. So there's not like an end. So these challenges typically have an end, like a date on which the challenge ends, and there's a winner or final presentations or whatever. either way, here in the greater Vegas area, people who do take part in and sometimes win or emerge with a form of victory, whatever form that takes, they often don't get recognized, at least. So you don't even have to win. Winning isn't everything, as they say. It's the only thing. Now, winning is not the only way or the only reason to celebrate and recognize people who actually try and who are ultimately a part of our innovation culture as we cultivate it. So people who take the time, put in the effort, and probably grow from it will, I believe, benefit, as will we all, by recognizing their efforts, their attempt, their progress as they do it more than once, hopefully, and their victories. I don't think anybody really gets defeated in these sorts of things. So when they emerge victorious and take home the big prizes, or if they just make a submission, and it was pretty cool. They put in the time. They should not be putting in the time in a true innovation culture. They should be putting in the time and have people say, hey, that was fun. That was cool. That was interesting. That was great. Even if they are recognized for participating, that's still important. So getting the word out is where all of this sort of is rooted, because if nobody knows what we're doing, if nobody knows that we're even talking about it, then it's hard to get more people to know what we're doing and what we're talking about. So a little feedback loop of sorts, and we'll see where that can go. So hopefully we will include a video component, especially if we do the Challenger. That would be a whole different show, right? A video, kind of an interview, or what do you call it? Like when after the sporting event, like a Howard Cosell. What was with that hackathon? That was horrible. But if we can actually shine a light on the people and their efforts, the teams, if they form teams, the actual projects, and then you'll know about the project for next year or the next time it happens. So you'll actually be able to prepare, form a team, participate, learn more, hone your skills, etc. So knowing that these things are happening and talking about them and talking about the people who take part in them, they all fit together nicely, like a pile of Legos. So that's the kind of stuff we're building. And of course, we will continue to talk about our projects. And as we begin to make some progress on deployment, the army of one may double in size for all I know. So we'll see. So thank you. I'll leave it there. Thank you if you have only just joined to listen to this final of season 0, I suppose, episode 52. There are a lot of episodes you can catch up on. And for the coming year, please do help us get the word out. Consider being a guest, or maybe you can participate in a live stream as we get that moving. And that is where I'll leave it. You can probably hear my voice is beginning to go. Allergies have won yet again. I need to work out the deep radio voice for your listening pleasure. Hopefully you are listening while you are out enjoying our lovely weather, fresh air, a little bit I don't know if it's raining right now. I think it's sunny out where I am on this Friday, 16 February, 2024. Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to check out our website if you'd like to be a donor or sponsor of our efforts. We are a 501c3 public charity and a Nevada nonprofit. We are renamed within the state of Nevada. So with the Secretary of State, we are officially Innovate for Vegas Foundation. We are awaiting our affirmation letter of our name change from Code for Vegas Foundation to Innovate for Vegas Foundation with the big guys over at the IRS. So good times. Thank you for listening. Take care.